special guest for you guys today, Miss Serena Poon. Serena is a celebrity chef, a nutritionist, and also works in the space of healing. Serena, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ken. I'm so excited to chat with you guys today. This is really cool, and I've already learned something from you.
I don't know what you can learn from me. That's what you're here today for. We talked a little bit off air about some mutual acquaintances we have with Tim Story and some other people. And listen, today, tell our audience a little bit about who you are, what you've got going on, and where you're located.
Okay, so hi guys. My name is Serena Poon. I am based in Santa Monica, California. I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of that in the news lately. And I am a chef and a classically trained chef and a nutritionist. So I primarily just focus on holistic nutrition. It's very integrative and functional, but I'm also a Reiki master. So I do a lot of healing work. And what I do with clients is I sort of put together this program that I call it culinary alchemy. So it's fusing physical nutrition, so that which is going on inside your physical body, with spiritual nutrition, so that which is going on inside your energetic body. And we use foods and different types of holistic modalities to really optimize your health and optimize your mind. It's a full, when we talk whole body, it is really, mind, body, soul. So that's basically the core of what I do. I also have a wellness brand called Just Add Water, and it's a proprietary blend, but it's like a powdered, super nutrient dense superfood that I launched a couple years ago. It was something that I was doing for a lot of my clients, a lot of my celeb clients, because they travel all over and they have to go so hard. And especially since you guys are primarily entrepreneurs, like you guys know, your days are long, you're going hard, and sometimes you don't get everything that you need into your body. So that's what Just Add Water is for. It's just a blend of basically everything that you need in a day. You put it in with a little bit of water and you're good to go. And I have a backstory for that, like if you guys want to hear about it.
I love it. Yeah, the two things we like to talk about on here, and I touch base off air with you, is we have all different spaces, different genres of people that come and just share with our audience. But we love to focus on passion and purpose. And talk to me a little bit about, obviously, I can tell in your countenance when you start talking about what you do, I see the passion come out of you. I can see the desire for what you do and the heart for what you have for your clients and your product and what you do to be able to help people. That's what I love about this medium and us being able to do podcasts and come together for people in different spaces that just love to help people. Talk a little bit about your passion and about your purpose and how you even got into doing what you're doing today.
Okay, so I love this question. I love the theme of what you do, Ken. I mean, truly, I think this alone has so much purpose, and it's so inspiring to so many people. And I think that's how we're aligned. So for me, my start was with my parents. Years ago, I was still in college. I was studying nutrition because it was of interest to me, and food has always been its core of love in our family, and if most families, sort of the center of the household, the kitchen is. And my senior year, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer, and so that was very challenging and a difficult time, obviously for him, but for our whole family. And it was just, when things like that happen, as we've probably all experienced at some point, it really shifts your perspective. So I started diving into looking at foods and plants and herbs and how can we help him. And he was doing traditional, just allopathic medicine, chemotherapy and radiation, but also Chinese medicine and drinking these teas that our relatives sort of like smuggled in, for him. So he dealt with it for about 1 year and 3 months. And then he passed. And then 2 months later, our mom got sick with cancer. She had a rare form of ovarian cancer. And she's still with us. I think that it was our dad, watching out for her. And also just, I think it was also her mind, and so she's still with us. But that was something that they both had to deal with in their 40s. My dad was 48 when he passed. My mom was 45 when she got sick. So that started shifted my entire perspective. I was so focused on how can I help other people not go through this, and so I decided, instead of going to law school, which was the trajectory of my my journey and what my career path was and what I thought was going to do for my family as well, I decided to go to culinary school to study the culinary.
How long had law school been something for you? Like
How,
how long had law school been a dream of yours to go to?
I mean, there was three things that I wanted to be before I became a chef, and I grew up thinking I was going to be an archaeologist because I loved Indiana Jones, and that was
Oh, that's
my
my
hero at
favorite.
the time,
Yeah.
you know. And then I thought I'd be a pediatrician, so my heart has always been rooted in helping people and in serving. And I was a candy striper, so I volunteered, you know, all through my preteen and teenage years. And then I thought I was going to be an attorney because it was, I mean, it was a cultural thing, honestly. Like I had such an interest in law, but really there wasn't an attorney yet in my family, and I'm Chinese, and so you're either an attorney, a doctor, CPA, or I don't know, like a astronaut. I don't know. So that was what I thought I'd do, even though I had an interest in other things. And so when this happened, it just shifted, and I just went straight to my heart. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll still be an attorney, and I'll go to law school later, you know. But right now, like this is what I want to do, and I felt so passionate about it. So I dived into culinary school to really learn how I can make amazing food, but also have it be healing, you know, and have it, and so it tastes great. Because what my dad was going through was that because he had liver cancer, and so everything he ate made him sick, you know. And people experience this, and food is a form of love, it's a form of comfort. And so, you know, a lot of people just aren't educated, and they just don't know how you can take something that's so healing for you but also make it taste good. So that was my journey. And over the course of that time, you know, I continued to study different types of nutrition, Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine, just everything. And I actually went through some of my own health issues because I wasn't taking care of myself. You know, I was thinking, oh, if I just take care of everybody else, you know, and I think also as entrepreneurs, we have this tendency to think that as well, take care of my family and my business and my employees and, you know, serving the world. I wasn't serving myself. And
Right.
so I ended up having some health issues. I had tissue that needed to be removed, some kind of bad tissue, I'll just call it that. And after that surgery, I got MRSA, which, you know, it's MRSA. For the people that don't know, it's a staph infection that can be common. It's kind of, staph is kind of everywhere, but it's also a very deadly staph infection and resistant to most antibiotics. So MRSA was something that I dealt with over the course of almost 8 years. I had 8 surgeries. You know, my most recent one was just last year. And in that journey, I learned so much about healing, about health, but also about the mindset and about self-care. And that journey, and that's also what brought me to spirituality. So I'm incredibly passionate about what I do. Because there's so many people out there that have gone through similar experiences, you know, and it starts from a core place, taking care of yourself so you can take care of others, and just really having an understanding of how to strengthen your body, nurture your body, make it strong so that our bodies are amazing machines and are designed to handle just about anything as long as you give it the tools. So that just, it's been my passion, it's been my purpose. And I feel that everything that I've gone through, even though there were some really difficult times, and we don't have a lot of time, so I won't go into all of it, but it's made me realize it's been my purpose, you know, to help people
Let me
in every way that I can in my area of expertise.
let me ask you a question. So your father battled cancer and you lost your dad.
Yeah.
And then your mom got cancer. Like,
Yes.
take us back to a moment in that period of time where I know we talked a little bit about you shifted from wanting to be an attorney into the food and nutrition and those kind of things. But take me into a moment. Do you remember a moment where you were like, this is what I want to do now? I want to help people who are watching their parents or people in themselves who are going through what they're going through. I heard you say just a minute ago, you said, my heart shifted where I wanted to help other people.
Yeah, there was. Whew, okay, so I'm gonna try and share this without getting too emotional, but there was so much going on at the time, you know, because he progressed so rapidly, right? He was diagnosed with stage 4, and because he was because everything he ate made him sick, it made him feel sick and had an adverse reaction in his body because it was liver cancer. Everything made him bloated to the point of pain. We constantly had to take him to the hospital to release fluid and different things. Um, I'll never forget one night when I walked into the living room and my dad was holding a hard-boiled egg, and he needed to eat this egg because it had the protein he needed and just basic nutrition, and there's so little that he could get down. And so he reached for basics because this is kind of all we knew at the time. And doctors more now understand nutrition, but back then, I mean, they really didn't. So he was holding this egg and he was looking at this egg, and he started to sob because he felt like his life had been reduced to this egg that he had to put into his body. And he worked so hard his whole life. My dad was the eldest of seven, and my parents had obviously immigrated over here, and so he was kind of like everyone's dad. He took care of all his siblings. He took care of his parents because my grandmother had him when she was 17, so they were practically brothers and sisters, growing up. I mean, and he just had worked so hard to give us such a good life and to retire well with my mom. And in that moment, I was like, no one should have to feel this way, experience. Like there has to be other options. There has to be other ways. And then that was when I just shifted. And so it became so important for me to do everything that I could to help other people, not just other people who are sick, but people who are the caretakers and the families of people who are sick, and to give people everything that I knew, all my knowledge and experience and everything that I had studied, to make their lives, as to optimize your life in whatever capacity that you're in, even if you're not well.
I
So
love that.
that's my moment.
Tell me about the first client or the first person you worked with when you realized what I saw my father go through and what I was able to help him and then in turn help my mom. Now I'm able to help a completely different family. Like, tell me about that moment and what did that mean to you when we talk about purpose and passion? And how did that fuel that passion for you?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Actually, I don't think I've ever been asked that question. Um, I, when I first got out of culinary school, you're just trying to like pay your loans, and you're just trying to work. And my first job was at the Playboy Mansion. Actually, that was where I'd done my internship, and then they hired me on, and I kind of fell into the cycle of just trying to work and pay bills, and having this kind of in the back of my mind. And then I had a client who had, her dad was sick. Her dad had uh, pancreatic cancer. And so at the time, I was just kind of getting into my career. I was just getting into what I was doing. I just used my basics that I knew and understood from my personal experience, as well as like the nutrition I learned, understanding what the body needs when the pancreas, is not available to do its 100%, understanding what we need systematically through our whole body when we're battling that kind of disease, inflammation, and also just like what our body needs for comfort and care. And so I worked with her. I worked with her dad, obviously, but kind of like through her so she could be doing a lot of the things. And he got better because, pancreatic cancer, if you can catch it early, it's something that you can actually, I use the word recover, in quotes, because I don't feel like I'm allowed to use that word. But you can come close to that. You can really tackle it and recover from it, even just through food and diet and lifestyle. And we were able to do that for him. And so, and just being able to watch the transformation of someone who isn't well go from not well and weak and tired, and you see it all physically, you also feel it energetically, kind of just transform over the course of the weeks and the months to a place where their life force is back strong and they're healthy. And just knowing that you've given them back a part of their life, like you're a part of that, is an honor and a privilege. And it just told me like, this is what For sure. I mean, I already knew, but like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So whether or not helping to heal people or helping them in any way, like in different ways, like it could be just consulting, it could be cooking the food, doing their menu, it could be Reiki, in whatever capacity I can do to help people help themselves, because it's really about helping yourself. That I knew was just, this is why I'm here.
You know,
So
one thing I say a lot to clients is when we stop focusing on our problems, like our problems seem like massive, and we stop focusing on our problems and we literally start to focus and help other people solve their problems. When
yeah.
we look back, our problems literally go from here to here. It shrinks. What
Mhm.
we're going through when we're able to add value to and help other people.
Mhm.
Talk to me about what's the journey been like for you. We started this entire podcast. It started as an Instagram live. It started as a live event in Atlanta that we had to postpone because of COVID. And we go, well, how can we add value? So
Oh,
2 or 3 months ago, we started doing Instagram lives. We switched it over to this platform. Talk to me about the past 3, 4 months. I guess now we're kind of into it since COVID in the middle of March. Talk to me about what you've learned, that passion, that purpose, and how you've been able to help other people, maybe even your family, but other people in this last 3 or 4 months during this pandemic time.
it's another great question. So everything that I've been doing has been all about helping people, and what I noticed is that in the last 3 or 4 months, people who didn't have as much of an interest, like they may have followed me because I started doing lives myself, and well, lives wasn't something that I had ever done. I have a TV show we film in a studio, but I hadn't done lives. And for the members of your audience who don't know, my sister actually got sick the very first week of March, with COVID, and I had it as I got it obviously because she stayed with me. We were quarantined together, but during that time, I was just flooded, with working harder than ever because so many people wanted to know, how do I strengthen my immune system? What do I do for nutrition? Everyone was freaking out. And so I realized that what I was doing, I had the people that I was already helping, but here, all these other people that health and wellness, and their bodies and their immune system, and the people that they love, it always been, something that's important, but maybe not something that they focused on. And so it was just like magnified, like times 10,000. So I realized it was another place where I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling the greatest, but we worked so hard. I was working, just putting out as much content as possible. Here, eat these things, do these things. This is what you need to do when you're under stress. This is why stress is, hard on your immune system. These are the practices I do. This is what I share with my clients. And so we were doing that. I was doing that, just content on Instagram primarily. And then I started doing the lives, which were really, we really saw traction with that because people just want to know. And they want to know from someone who's like a trusted source who has been doing it forever, not just, in the past few months. So yeah, it's been amazing, and it's also shown me that, like, wow, okay, so I need to do like a course or a class or something so that people have a library of information that they can go to because they want to know it. And sometimes it takes different triggers for people to really want to dive in, right? Most of the time people come to me because they have a health issue that they want to fix, which it's great when someone just wants to optimize their health, but a lot of the times people come when their health, they've got some issue. So it just tells me, just keep doing it. People want this information. It's helpful. It's changing people's lives. Understanding that if they do get sick, they can get better, has been huge, for a lot of the people that have been engaging, with me online, just knowing that. So I feel grateful actually that I got it,
Yeah.
that we went through it, and I can share with people what I did, but also share with them the knowledge that your body fights for you.
Isn't it amazing how when we look back at life, and
Hmm.
we look back and we see, I went through this moment. Now
Hmm.
I'm able to help people go through the same types of moments. I went through this moment, and now I'm able to help people go through this type of moment. You did it with your father and your
Yeah.
mom, and then that's really what kind of put the wind in your sails and built that passion, fueled that passion for you to help people. And then with the whole coronavirus, you got COVID, and you were able to, through that period, go on social media and build awareness and go, hey, this is what I'm battling, my sister and I, and here's what we're doing to come out on the other side, and here's what you can do.
Yeah.
So tell me what's next. What's next for Serena Poon?
Oh, well, this has been really great. We're starting to do a lot of different, I don't know if they're called summit or series, with different groups, teaching basically what it is that I do. It's just great because I've talked about culinary alchemy. My community has an idea of what it is, but people, because you get results, like you see and you feel, and the most important part of it is that you don't need me necessarily. I can show you how, but people are actually doing it on their own, and they get the results, and they feel better and stronger. So it's really something, and totally transparent. I think maybe I was hesitating, or maybe had like a fear about it, that people might not get it. It's kind of, maybe it's too much. There's that spirituality in it, and and this mindfulness, and maybe it's too much. And I realized that it's not. This is what we have access to. Even though we're opening up right now, all the different cities and states, a lot of people are still trying to stay at home and get whatever they need within their own household. And so I realized there's such a need for that information, and it's just another way to continue to help serve people. So we're kind of like building that out, and it's actually really, it's exciting, but it's really rewarding knowing that like I can continue to educate and show people more and help people more. So
why do you think we fight that so much as entrepreneurs or as people? Like, you've got this dream and this passion, this vision to help people, but there's just that little voice that goes, they're not gonna like it, you don't need to do it, it's too much. Why do you think we struggle with that so much?
I mean, I think that it's not just entrepreneurs. We all do, right? It's that fear, and it's just that mindset. And, it's so human. It's so human to not want to hurt and not want to be disappointed. And it's so human to question yourself, and it's just that, and it's a constant thing. I it's something that for me, my whole life, there's always been, I say yes so much more now. I used to just say no. And I think for me, it's also slightly cultural. As in our culture, in our family, it has been a little bit more fear-based. It's like, don't mess up, don't bring shame, don't do this, don't do that, don't disappoint. Just do all the things that that's going to get you the A plus, like no matter what. So for me, I think it's a little bit cultural. But I think that as entrepreneurs, we work so hard, well, everyone works hard, but as an entrepreneur, you really put your heart and soul. Your businesses are your kids, are your babies. And, you never want to see something fail, but you have to remember that like you can't even fail if you don't try. And what I've learned is that every challenge is a gift. And truly all the things that I've been through are gifts. They're the lessons in my journey. These lessons of life have become my teachings for my clients and for my community. So I don't like using the word silver lining, because I truly just see that everything that's happened, it's a gift. And so that's something that I remind myself of, because even if I do something and it fails, you just tweak. There really is it's kind of cliche, but there really is no failure as long as you learn your lesson, right? If you don't learn your lesson, that's a different thing. You'll just keep learning that lesson. But you learn the lesson, it's incredibly valuable. But we're still humans. And so you still work at it, and, it's exciting to try new things. And it's always a reminder to everybody. It's like those first few steps when you try, they're probably your messiest, but then you'll look back and say, oh, wow. I mean, the same thing when I was offered the show, those first few episodes were just like, okay, but you look back and now it's easy. And so, that whole, practice makes perfect. I forget what the quote is, but it's just about doing it. And so I don't know why we do that. I think it's
I tell all my coaching clients, one-on-one and group coaching, think incremental, not monumental.
Yeah.
Think incremental.
It's not It's a journey, right? So,
Daily discipline steps and incremental over time will turn into monumental.
mhm,
And entrepreneurs' greatest asset and greatest gift is
mhm,
we're never satisfied. But the
mhm.
flip side of that coin is our greatest weakness is we're never satisfied. And
Yeah.
you've got to learn to enjoy the journey. You've got
Yeah,
to
and
find
celebrate those small wins, right? Like, that's so important. And I think that's why my gratitude practice has been so helpful. Is that like no matter what day that you have, what kind of day you've had, at the end of the day, just like go through your 3 or 4 or 5 wins that day, and they can be super tiny. It doesn't. They don't have to be like, oh, I sold this or that, or I signed this kind. It could just be like, I got a chance to give myself an hour and a half today,
yeah,
where I got to whatever it is. So,
I love
yeah.
it. So, where can people find you, watch the show, connect with you? What's the easiest way for them to do that?
The easiest way is through Instagram, I think, because that kind of links over to everything. So on Instagram, well, on all my social media platforms, I'm Chef Serena Poon. But Instagram is where I'm probably the most active, and you'll find links to my website. You'll link over to YouTube. And also to the podcast and different places, and that's where you'll find the bulk of the information. And especially if you want health and wellness stuff, there's tons of information on the
You said
blog.
this just a minute ago about trying not to make mistakes so you
Mhm.
didn't bring dishonor. I can say this, just in the short time I followed you and just being with you today for 30 minutes, you brought incredible honor on your father and your mother and the way that you helped them walk them through their journey, and then the way you've taken that and you've taken what you learned there and what can be difficult moments, and then how you've helped other people. And I've said this a ton over the past 3 months that we've been doing this is I really COVID's been terrible, but I really believe what we're going to see come out of this is we're going to see how social media has been taken and used to connect relationships and get the message that would have you and I never would have met had it not been for COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
Pastor
No.
Tim and I probably never would have reconnected had it not been for COVID. And
Mhm.
now your message is out there for people to be able to go, wow, that's inspiring. She walked through this with her family, and now she's taking those things that she learned and helping other people walk through that. And not only just walk through it, but walk through it and win. So you brought great honor on your
Oh
family.
my God. Thank you so much for those kind words, Ken. I mean, thank you. I appreciate so much. I appreciate you so much and
Oh, you're
everything
more than
that
welcome.
you're doing.
When Pastor Tim gets out and about, I'm in OC, probably once every couple months. But
Oh,
Pastor
you're
Tim,
in
yeah,
Orange
yes,
County?
yeah, where was I at? I was in Carlsbad about 2 weeks ago with Greg Reed, who wrote 3 Feet from Gold.
Wow.
And then David Meltzer, I had David on last week. So David is,
Amazing.
yeah, so David's wanting to connect. And then Pastor Tim, when he's ready to kind of get back out in society, we're gonna grab some lunch one day. So when I'm out there, I would absolutely love to connect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We were supposed to see each other this past weekend and then reschedule. So I'll see him, hopefully in the next like week or two. But we
Pastor
should
Tim, tell him
absolutely.
you're with me. And
Oh yeah, I will. I'm gonna message him right now.
tell him how much I adore him and how much I love him. And it's been an honor to have you with us today. And I think you're scheduled for our Grow Stack Drive Virtual Summit in July.
Yes, I'm so
So, yeah,
honored about that.
that's
That's so
going to be
exciting.
that's
Yeah.
going to be fun. I'm not exactly sure who we've got. I think we've got 6 or 7 people confirmed
Uh-huh.
for that month. David Meltzer. David's actually going to be one of the guys that's going to be on that panel. It's going to be a
Mhm.
phenomenal time, and looking forward to reconnecting with you then.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ken. This has been so much fun. It's truly been an honor. And let's stay connected. Like I want to chat with you and maybe even see you before the summit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
So
most definitely. Anything we can do to add value to you, we'd love to do that.
same here. So I'm here to support. You're amazing. Thank you for
Thank you,
everything that you're
Serena.
doing. All right.
You,
Take
you have
care.
a blessed day.
You too.